Oh, we've done it again. Hello and welcome to Command Protocols. It's me by myself with Andy. This is episode 18, I think.
17?
17. It's one of those two.
18?
We're professional here. I was trying to remember the number and I've forgotten it, but it's
Very.
fine. Yeah, we're back after Warhammer. Some of us did a lot more Warhammer than others. But, how was your weekend? What did you get
Yeah,
up to?
pretty good. I went to Bristol, played in a tournament there. Other than that, not a great deal. Hung out with some friends, had a good laugh, ate some dodgy food.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, spent an hour trying to fix my Doomsday Arc bases again at like 1:30 in the morning, but
Mm.
not a good time. How about you? How was your weekend?
Went on a date on Friday, and then Saturday I recovered, hungover, and then in time for an RTT on Sunday,
Nice.
which was which I took Phalanx, obeisance Phalanx to an RTT to dust off one of the detachments that nobody gives a shit about, and actually see if I need Catan to make it win, but I didn't take any that time.
No.
Nice. So we've got a lot to talk about. We've not done a video on the Dataslate, so we could. Do you want to talk about that first?
No, I think we wrap up this weekend, which was the old points, and
Do all the
then
tournaments.
then,
Yeah.
then, then we'll do the data slate and what we're thinking of going forwards.
So I played with the new points, which
Oh,
basically all that meant for
okay.
my list was that my list went up 15 points. So I had to drop. Something.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was good. And you played in the Bristol
Yeah.
Supermain, yeah?
What was your list? The RTT?
What was my list? Well, I'm glad you asked because I don't have it up. So while we do that, you can tell me how your games went in Bristol.
Sure. So I took Starshooter, which we discussed last week. My round one pairings was into Imperial Knights, and he had the Valiant, right, and it has this ridiculous gun on it that's like strength 24, AP 6, 12 damage, anti-vehicle, anti-monster dev wounds 4 up. So I wasn't particularly happy about that, having a
Yeah, it's tough.
having a list full of vehicles, no spider. I was like, okay, that's not good. But the good thing is it has 18-inch range, and the rest of the guns aren't too scary. He had another big knight which has like D6+3 shots with rapid fire D6+3. That's always in rapid fire because it's 72-inch range. So yeah, I knew I had to play this one carefully because if I just ran into his guns, then I could just get deleted, which was a bit weird. But he kind of made a mistake, and he just ran out his big knight into the center turn one through the building with it battle shocked. And I was like, okay,
Classic.
he's shot. He didn't kill anything from memory. And then I thought, right, if it hadn't been battle shocks, I'd have just gone for all of his armatures because it was like 3 Helverins and 4 Warglaves alongside the little guys. Sorry,
Mm.
the big guys. But because it was battle shocks, and he couldn't rotate, he couldn't CP reroll a save or anything. I thought, right, I'm just gonna have to go for this big knight. And I spent quite a while measuring the range and the movement of his Valiant with the stupid anti vehicle gun to make
12
sure
damage
that,
gun.
that he couldn't get to any of my things apart from the rope which were in the center. Alpha seeing the big knight just in case I didn't kill it. So I spent all that time making sure that I was out of the range of this gun. Shot the absolute crap out of the big guy and killed it. Killed another little war dog as well. Sorry, an armiger because it's not chaos. And then completely forgot that he could just pick up the Valiant because it had the enhancement. So end of that turn, he just picked it up and dumped it 17.9 inches away from the Silent King because I left him the smallest little gap to do that. So he shot the King. He didn't actually do any damage to the King. He just killed the 2 Minis, which was nice. And then I just kind of charged that knight with 5 flayed ones and then just ran out of its line of sight with the rest of my army. So all he could shoot was the flayed ones or the race in the center, and I just deleted the rest of his army while he just sat there and kicked 5 flayed ones with 4 attacks. It never moved. It never moved from that point. It literally had wraiths, and he never shot the flayed ones, which was with the flamer, which was strange. But yeah, they just sat there. 4 attacks does not kill 5 flayed ones, and I just hid.
Famously.
And then turn 5, let's just try and kill it because there's nothing else to do. So that was it was a nice win. I didn't score a huge amount of points because it was I only got 80 points, and the reason I got 80 points was I just drew shit secondaries the whole game. The one turn that I could have gone for his big knight, I drew assassinate, but it was a case of if I go for it and kill it, happy days. But if I don't kill it, then I'm gonna just get wrecked because I won't have killed anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided not to get the assassinate, and then I was just getting cards that I just couldn't score, and so I got only 27 secondaries, even though the game was pretty dominant. But we got a win, and that's all that matters. Round 2, I played against Adam from Mind Goblins on Blood Angels, playing literally
Big palms.
literally every jump pack model that he could find. Although he did have a repulsor with company heroes in it,
And the Smash Captain.
Yes, and then he had the Sanguinor as well, which made it very tricky for me because the Sanguinor, if anyone doesn't know it, can stay in deep strike, and then if you charge at the end of the charge phase, he can come down with engagement range of any of the units that charged, and he is pretty decent in melee. And
He has fights first dev wounds.
it meant that I couldn't charge with the wraiths at all because he could then come down where the Technomancer was at the back and then just try and epic challenge him out. So I could never charge with my wraiths, and they're usually pretty good into jump pack marines usually because 2 damage against 2 wounds. But so that kind of limited what I could do. However, it was on Purge the Foe, and he went first, moved out. I killed some stuff turn 1, and then turn 2 he didn't kill a thing. I got hold more, I got kill more, and then it was just like he went again and didn't kill anything, and that was it, really. I just deleted most of his army at that point, and he didn't kill a unit, sorry. He didn't kill a unit. He killed some wraiths. I did a clever thing where I put 2 wraiths out on the central objective to make him charge me. He charged me, killed some wraiths. I then wanted to do I used my Resorb to bring back a wraith so I could get back on the point and stop his Storm Hostile because he only had 1 OC on there. But after I did that and I had the model in my hand, I realised because of how I positioned in the building, I couldn't actually get on the objective to stop the Storm Hostile. So I was kicking myself in the teeth. Like, if I lose this game by like 4 points or anything close to that, I'll be very disappointed. But as it was, it didn't make any difference. He just kind of whiffed his first turn. He gave me the repulsor because he didn't really have anywhere easy to hide it because of the lines of sight on Crucible. So he just kind of left it in the open a little bit. And I just got to kill it turn 1, and I got to bring it down that turn. And because it's got 60 wounds, I got 4 points, which was great. And then the guys out in it they didn't have anywhere to go, they couldn't really hide. So it was just positionally a bad place to put it, really. And he started too much in reserves as well. So after his first kind of attack into me, he didn't really have. Maybe I went first, actually. That might make. I think I went first, actually, which is why having so many things in reserve wasn't good for him because he didn't have as much to hit me back on turn 2 after I hit him turn 1. And then it was like turn 3, and there was just half the stuff left. So yeah, we got a big win there. I got 97 points. So we're going well. Round 3, I played my favourite army, Invasion Fleet Nids. And it was genuinely one of the most frustrating games I've ever played. Not because my opponent was bad or anything. He was a great guy, but he just didn't come out at all. He just hid everywhere, and I couldn't be the guy that steps out first because he outgunned me 2-1 in terms of shooting units. So I had to just play it slow, but then he was just denying me, and I'm just sat there thinking, I got to do something. I baited him with 2 DDAs and just sat them out in the open and said, "Come and shoot me." He didn't come and shoot me, and I'm just like, I got ahead. I got like 5 points on primary ahead, and I think it was 3 points in secondaries ahead. And I'm thinking, he's got bottom of turn. I don't know what to do. I need to kind of, I can't just put one DDA out to try and shoot a tank. I'm not going to kill it. So yeah, it was a really rough game. He came out turn 4, did some shooting, killed some stuff, and then I just shot as much back as I could and managed to hold on for the win. And I won by 10 points. He wasn't able to get the second going last bonus, basically, holding 15 primary, because I just dumped my whole army on the points and said, you're not going to get on there now. Because I killed his trash with the high OC, so he just had the bugs left, basically. And yeah, it was a really rough game. In the middle of it, I was just thinking, I'm going to struggle to win this game if things don't go my way, and they did. So yeah. So 3 around day 1, pretty good. Round 4, though, I got into Death Guard, which was not going to be easy. It was a ridiculously close game. I won by a point. I scored 67 points, which I think is my lowest ever points tally winning a game. Pretty cool. He had 2 full turns of shooting my entire army with all of his drones, the Blight Haulers, because he had 2 big squads of Plague Marines with the crit 5 sustained lethals, and he had the strat to shoot.
They're horrible to play into.
He had 2 manas, so he was re-rolling all wounds, and he had 2, and he had the strat to re-roll all hits if I'm in my deployment zone. So I had to do something just to initiate the game, because I couldn't leave it till the end. So I put the race out thinking that it would be okay. He stepped out his first squad of Plague Marines, and yeah, they really hurt those Plague Marines. They killed, I think it was 5 Wraiths in a Crypto Throw. So the recovery was quite hard, but it enabled me to try to kill those. So I spent my turn 2 killing 1 blob of Plague Marines and trying to hurt the other blob. And then his turn 2, all the drones came out, all the Death Shroud came down and charged. So my turn 3 was just trying to kill the Death Shroud, and yeah, it's just so hard to get through all of these things.
It's such a nightmare when they can just drop in at 6 inches away. That threat's always there.
Yeah.
And it's against some stuff, when you run in a big unit, they can move their poxwalkers forward, and then they're able to come behind you if you haven't screened the 6 inches behind properly.
Yeah.
Because if you just do 9 to 9, then they can fit in that 3-inch gap that's left, and it's awful to play into.
Yeah, so turn 3, I was having to deal with the Death Shroud and, a few other bits, but I literally didn't touch. So turn 3, he then shoots me with all of his drones again. And it was only turn 4 when I started looking at, trying to kill the Blight Haulers and stuff, when I actually started doing that. And it was really hard because they've got, 5 or 6 drones to shoot you with. And I've got 3 DDAs. And I can't necessarily one-tap a drone. You can with a DDA, but it doesn't always happen.
Tough.
Make a couple of 5s, you roll low on the dice. Like there was one where I was shooting it and I rolled a 2, so I'm like, probably doesn't do it. I need to re-roll it and roll it into a 1, so I actually got less shots. So then 2 DDAs.
I literally had the issue killing those drones in one of my games, which I'll go through.
So it was a really close game. I literally it came down to if he drew containment on the last turn out of all the rest of his cards, he could have won, but he didn't. And as a result, the max he could do was 1 point below me. So a kind of fortunate win there, but it was a hard-fought victory. So
which mission was that? Was that Lynchpin?
Yes.
Yeah. Round 4.
Yes, it was Lynchpins. That was also kind of difficult because I had to use a lot more resources to screen my home field, because it makes a huge difference in that mission. Because he can 6-inch deep strike, because he picks 2 units to be afflicted, and he can just pick whatever's holding a home objective and then deep strike within 6 and have a 6-inch charge. So I had to screen 6 inches out the entire backfield. My list didn't really have a lot of screening units, so I had to keep them there. If he kept 1 squad of Death Shroud in reserves until turn 3, then he might have won that game, because I would have had to have more of my resources screening the backfield to stop him from getting in. Once they came down, everything was on the table. I could then push out and utilize my units. But yeah, he kept rolling 4s on his Death Shrouds, and yeah, I was like, this isn't going to go very well if And then
I
I met,
always get that against
yeah,
Death Shroud.
and I kept my DDA stationary as much as possible for the dev wounds, and I just didn't roll any dev wounds. So sometimes I felt like I was slightly out of position. At least in Star Shatter, when you move, you can still hit on twos if they're on the objective, but the dev wounds in against the invuls was what I was looking for, and it just didn't come up. But yeah, so such is life. So round 5, I played into Custodian's Lions, and this was an interesting game. I was definitely a bit too aggressive. He charged my race. I'm going to check this one. I'm pretty sure I went second in this game, right? I went second. So turn 1, he just staged everything really well, and I didn't basically get to kill anything. And then he charged my race with a warden squad in the center. He rolled pretty decently on the number of hits, so he got more sustain than he did
Mm-hmm.
misses. And I basically rolled his dice, and I picked up about 2/3 of the dice, and I think I made about 1 in 6 saves, which was pretty rough.
Mm.
I had a lot of feel no pains to make, and I proceeded to make almost no feel no pains at all.
Ouch.
Literally, 2 attacks was killing a wraith, 2 attacks killing a wraith. So only towards the back end was I able to make some saves, but I lost nearly the whole squad that first activation, and then he pops the feel no pain, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So I had to kind of deal with that squad that was in the center there and then. And then the following turn, on his turn 3, he literally killed the race. He killed 2 DDAs. He took my home field objective off me, which was my Scorpet Destroyer with the -1 damage enhancement, because he deep strike 3 Terminators in the backfield and made the 9-inch charge. So he killed them. I had 3 CP, and the choice was roll a 4-up save on my Lord to keep him alive against these 4-wound Terminators, or, because of the Calidus Assassin, intervene with the Wraiths into the Wardens. Uh, and I figured if I intervened with the Wraiths and killed 1 or 2 models, then the Wraiths would survive. So I spent the 3 CP to
Interrupt.
interrupt. I rolled decently, but he made literally every 3 up. So I killed no models, and then he killed the Wraiths, except the Technomancer to the wound. So one model, if I killed one model, then the Wraiths survive. As it was, they died. And then I'm staring at, I have 1 DDA, I've got the Silent King, and then just bits of trash. I've got no home objective. I've got 5 points. There's 2 blobs of wardens, 1 on the center objective, 1 just outside my home field. I'm thinking this game is just done already. He popped the Feel No Pains on both his wardens that turn, and I managed to kill the one in the center. And then the Silent King stood strong, basically, even without the -1 damage. And in the end, he tried to burn my home objective with his Terminators, and I just out OC'd him to stop that. And then I scored at the end, and I was kind of gobsmacked that I won the game, because after that turn 3, I just thought, I don't know how to kill 2 blobs of wardens, given that my entire army only just killed 1 blob, and in fact the character survived from the first blob. I was like, this is just not going to happen. But popping the Feel No Pain on both squads at the same time, when I only had, 1 DDA and 1 King to shoot, was probably the mistake that cost him. Because if he'd
Mm-hmm.
left the other one alive, then if he popped the one in the center and kind of forced me to shoot the one near him, near my home objective, then I'd probably kill that a bit easier. But yeah, I just don't deal with the other one. And yeah, but I managed to win it. So I made 5-0, which was really nice. Tough games. The friends that I went with, because I was driven down, because we all went down in one car. The deal was that if like 2 of us made top cut, then we'd stay. But unfortunately, one of them, Andy, lost to 2 stompers round 2. So yeah, he's not going to thank me for bringing that one up, because the guy was there for fun rather than competitively. But hey, it's one of those things. He just left stompers alive on a wound each time. But he finished 4-1 and came 17th, I think it was. And then our other friend Alex drew into Necrons round 4, and he could have made the top cut based on, other people's results, but he didn't. So they decided to leave me. So I left, and I managed to get a lift home with Dave. So Dave, thank you very much for the lift home. So I stayed for the top cut, and in round 6 I played against Ewan on his Necrons. So we've met in the Ewan at Nottingham. He were 4-1 in his first event, and he was playing Star Shatter with 3 DDAs, Wraith, Silent King, and it was a mirror. And it can be really volatile in the mirror, but
It certainly can.
my race were better than his race because I had the Reanimator and I had the Command Barge, which he didn't have, and I had more OC. So he would have to overcommit to try and deny me the points. He stepped out with his race. I killed all but one of them. I tried to kill him in a charge. I had a 5-inch charge. I rolled a 4 with no CP left, so that was disappointing. And then we had a DDA fight, just a big back and forth with DDAs. But remarkably, turn 4, there were still 5 DDAs on the table because turn 1 I shot mine into his race, turn 2 he shot his into me, into my race, and then I shot him, he made his 4-ups, he shot me, I made some of my 4-ups, although one went down to 2 and I actually moved out of the way. It was just silly. Nothing was really dying, but eventually I whittled him down and just kind of outscored him towards the end. He brought his king out, I killed the king, my king was standing strong and my race was still alive, and I killed his race and his Lichguard. So he had some nice tech in his list though, which we'll cover later, I think, right? But it was
when we look at his list.
Necron mirrors can be really volatile. I was glad that I won it because I don't think I'd have ever lived it down if I'd lost a Necron mirror. You're the only one I've lost to in a Necron mirror apart from Josh Roberts, but he doesn't count because he's just an absolute machine.
He dropped 1 point over the whole weekend.
Yeah, he dropped 1 point. 7 games, he dropped 1 point, which is just ridiculous. At least he's got somewhere to improve now because the next event he can go and not drop any, right? That's how it works.
Yeah, but he ain't taking Gulliman and Calgar.
No, he's not. So 6-0 into the top 6, and I played Chris Radford on Blood Angels. Turn your phone off, Matt.
Is it vibrating?
You, yeah. So I've played Chris once before. This was Battlefield Birmingham, where he beat me with Blood
Angels. He's a good friend, Chris. Chris is a good friend. He's a good guy.
He's a good player. He was playing Blood Angels, lag, loads of jump pack, Marines, smash captain with the rage fueled nonsense. It's really tough army, really quick, trades really well. He got first turn and just staged so well that I couldn't see or do anything. The only thing I could kill was 5 scouts, which he charged me. And I spent about 20 minutes trying to work out what I could do and how I could play it. And I just figured I just had to -1 damage the king, try and put him out in the open, and then give him the race and hope that the race didn't die. Position him quite, like string them out quite high, hide my Technomancer so he couldn't snipe him out with Epic Challenge, and hope that if he did like go gung ho into the race, that the first activation would kill enough that I could pull away from the second and third. But as it was, kind of half charged me with half his army and left the other half back. The first wave didn't kill much. The race stood strong, and they just gave me the ability to activate basically my whole army and kill everything that he sent at me that first round. The second round was a lot more deadly. Left me with not a lot of stuff, but just enough that I was able to get through what he'd given me. The king survived the following turn on a wound, which was huge. I had to CP reroll the last save. As it was, because he was bracketed and I was on bottom, I wasn't able to ignore mods, so I was doing rerolls, so I only had 6 attacks melee to hit back, which wasn't fantastic. And then the following turn, I forgot to go ignore mods because he basically had one big squad of Lamartis with the -1 damage on the big death company, which was, I probably should have ignored mods, but in the end it didn't matter because I had DDAs pointing at them. And I managed to just pull out a small win. It was close. A few little decision differences from him, and it would have been a lot closer, or even a win for him. But we got through it just about. So I finished 7-0 and came second.
Easy.
Not bad.
Necron's back on top, baby.
Necron's back on top. I've not really had a particularly good result since we started doing this podcast. Really, I'm going to blame that podcast for it. I've not really done well at any of the big events.
Yeah.
4-1 is the last two GTs. Pretty much what I've done. I've done well in teams and RTTs, but they don't really count in terms of internet points for rankings and anything.
Not what we're trying to do.
No, and I slipped down to third in the Necron rankings. I just couldn't have that. So I'm like, right, this is the event. It's a big event. Let's just do well. And okay, so
there was a lot of people there. I would have liked to go. I was getting a lot of FOMO not being there.
Well, I wish you'd come. You could have got a ticket as late. I mean, we literally decided to go about 2 days, a day before the submission. I think it was the Saturday night when we made the decision to go, and then we bought the tickets on the Sunday and then submitted the list on the Sunday night. That was about it.
I would have liked to go, but I was busy. And got an expensive month ahead of me. I've already spent so much money this month.
Yeah.
I've got download and I've been paying for WTC. I've paid the WTC's almost paid off, and then I've got Download Festival next week or this week. Tomorrow, Wednesday. Fucking hell. So yeah, really, really soon. So I've got to buy all my booze for that and food, and then food there, and it's just a lot of money. So
we've been good.
Well, nice. You did really good. You did super good. We can run through some of the well-performing lists.
Yeah, surprisingly,
and then I'll talk about mine after that.
Surprisingly, Necrons actually did really well at the event. There was quite a few on the top tables, which is weird. There was not as many Death Guard as you'd expect. There was 30 Death Guard going, and there was only a couple who ranked highly.
So there was 6 out of the top 13 players were all Necrons, which is really crazy. It's probably one of the best performances we've had in a while for one event.
But it wasn't even
pre-nerf.
It wasn't pre-buff and detachment either. And most of it was better, but there was
2 detachments.
No, Awakened and Canoptic Court.
As well. Oh yeah. Obviously, the crumble womble. So yeah, we got you second.
Yeah.
So we start Shatter. We'll go over the lists in a minute.
Sandwich between the Roberts brothers.
We've got Dennis, who I have no idea who he is, but I have seen this robot emoji before. So
yeah, I've seen it, but I've never
must be a Necron player. Then we've got Ewan, is it?
Ewan, my round 6 opponent.
Who we briefly met, and he's obviously been doing really well for somebody that's not been going to tournaments much before. I'm
really
impressed. Then we got Danny Everson, who drew round 1, but the fake Necron player that is my teammate. And then Luke Harris, who is also playing Awakened, who's playing my old list. Mark Crumble, who was running Canoptic Core with his 3x3 Locust Destroyers, which he said actually were really good. So I'm interested. I spoke to him about them. So
when you look at what he played against, they were really good. But if he played against something like Death Guard, they wouldn't have been really good. So
they're good in the meta that he's going into. It just goes to show that there's a lot of people playing that like Marine bodies at the moment.
Yeah,
so
they might be worth looking at in singles. 3x1 singles, obviously.
It's basically like the shooty version of a Scorpec squad. That's essentially what you're getting.
Yeah,
like they move the same. They just don't move through walls, but then they shoot. It's a bit less strength, obviously, but it's ranged. And
so I'm thinking that instead of them 3x3 destroyers for 90 points, you just take a squad of Praetorians. So you get nine attacks. From
just
the
for the rerolls.
But you're getting 9 attacks with the destroyers, but with the Praetorians, you're getting 20.
And it's in combat.
And shooting and combat move.
He's got the combat 2 damage. I understand why he's done it. But anyway, we're going to look through the lists.
Yeah.
But yes, everyone did very well. We'll look at yours first.
Yeah.
let's skip that absolute fucking
But-
paragraph.
yeah, well, if you want a
Very,
video
very
of me on
simple.
Goonhammer, yeah, very
Yeah,
simple.
there's if you want to pause the video, that you can read. Right, so we've got the. Do you want to tell us? Sure.
Yeah, so Silent King, obviously, so good. I love this model so much. It's so consistent. And he's so tough to kill sometimes, especially with -1 damage. My opponent just looks at it
I
and
was,
went,
I was,
how
I was
many
really
wounds?
enjoying him.
Yeah,
I love that guy. God,
yeah.
he's so good, man.
And
I hated not playing him. I missed him.
yeah.
Missed him a lot.
And then the Command Barge. And this weekend, the Command Barge actually really impressed me. Not just the rerolls, because the reroll, having 2 auras of rerolls was really nice. And against Death Guard, it meant I could do ignore mods and have rerolls on my key units. But the extra OC, not just for the Wraith Blob, which is what I use it for mostly, but just extra OC for, like, when I had OC2 Flayed ones, because they were near him, it just meant it was so much more difficult for my opponent to steal objectives off me. Because they need more models on the point, which means they couldn't do it over 2 points, for example, or like they couldn't just stick a drone out because I'd have more OC. The Resorb was nice. He did die quite a bit. He's not as tough without the Feel No Pain you get in Awakened Dynasty. And the -1 damage, -1 to wounds just literally did nothing. They never shot him with anything higher, or the melee was always winning on 4s or had lethals and stuff. So
Yeah,
he's
bring
not.
back old. That what the old rule.
Yeah, he's not as resilient as you might think, but I mean, most of the time he didn't get seen. His melee came in useful a few times. There was a time when I wished I'd tank shot with him. Basically, when I in the game against the Custodes player, the guy had Trajan running around by himself. And in lines, you can double up their once per game abilities, and he gave him a 2-up invul. And I was trying my hardest to kill this Trajan, and I really needed to kill him so I could charge some Wardens. So I charged him with a Reanimator to tank shock as
Does he have a Feel No
desperation.
Pain?
He has a 5-up Feel No Pain. I was like, I have to do this. This is the only way I can do it. Otherwise, I'm sat here against a 2-up invul again, and he's in combat with the King. And I rolled, and I got 2. I actually got the 2 mortals that I needed, but he made a Feel No Pain. So he survived on a wound. It was agonizing. But anyway, so yeah, I should have done it with him instead, but it was. The Scorpet Lords were nice, but they just kind of, they were a threat, but then they died, so they probably need changing a little bit. And then 3 Doomsday Arcs, great shooting. Reanimator, the Wraiths were pretty good, although they died twice in this event, which is the first time they've died since I started using this list. And yeah, Flayed One's pretty strong, standard. Locust Destroyer's pretty standard. Yeah.
So this list has gone down 5 points. Oh, it's gone up because of the score pets.
I've gained 20, 30 points, and then I've lost, 15, I think it is.
Yeah.
So 5 on the Techno, 10 on the Race, and then 10 for each Lord and 5 for each Destroyer. So it's gone up 15 points, which supposedly we're meant to be getting buffed. Feels like I got
Good
nerfed.
riddance.
Feels like I got nerfed somehow.
Clearly, this list is too strong, and I said to you that it didn't need changing, and lo and behold.
Yeah, on that Sunday before submission, after the teams event I just played in, I was like, I don't know if I like this list enough.
We had a call, and he was like, "What should I do? What should I do?" And I was looking at his list, and I was
change?
like, "There's nothing you can
Like,
change.
how do
I
I?
can't.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, I
How
was
do
like,
I
I can't see a
change it?
single thing that I would add to this or take away from this list.
I mean, there's loads of things
This
I'd
is
want to add. I really wanted another Locust Destroyer because I always felt
Yeah.
low on screening and action. Guys, I was always like 1 or 2 short. I felt, even though I went 7-0, I always felt I was kind of fighting my list a little bit in terms of I just didn't have enough stuff.
Well, the new cards, there aren't as
around.
many actions now. Like, you've got 1 fewer action cards, which required 2 units, so
Yeah,
it
but
is helpful.
that was the card you always wanted at the start, and
Yeah, at the start. But
yeah,
like sometimes you can't afford it mid game. But now you don't.
Yeah.
Now you don't have to like clog up as much. Like, you still do have to use it a bit, but it's not as bad as it was.
But like with the new cards, if I'm taking this list, then this list has to add Emotech to it for sure.
Yeah,
I was I was never really low on CP. There were many games where I would have a stockpile of 4 or 5 because I made a point of trying not to CP reroll DDA shots because I always just bunk all my CP away on that too often and then regret not having it later. But yeah, Imotech with the card changes is going to be a lot stronger. So that's one change that would have to get made. But like the crypto thralls, they stay with the race. Even though it doesn't give up cull
Oh,
anymore,
good.
they just the extra models for the mortals, the extra wounds in the squad that you don't want to die but absorb a lot of their damage. It's just
And they
needed.
can be strung out and stuff, and it
And
is still good.
there was one time when my opponent got a captain. I think it was round 2 against Blood Energy. He used his CP up, but then he had a captain with the free strap, so he used him to try an epic challenge out the Technomancer. But the Fort Feel No Pain from the Cryptos came in clutch, and he didn't actually die. And so
Nice.
yeah, that's why he didn't kill any models, any units, which was pretty savage. But so yeah, the list still feels a little wonky, but it's really strong. There is a lot of power there. It's just a matter of like making sure I learn from the mistakes I made in the games that made them a bit more tough for me, like going a bit too aggro or not aggro enough.
Yeah, I'd agree. All right, so we'll work down. So
Are
this was.
we not going to talk about the Annihilation Legion?
We will. We'll talk about him last because we'll
Okay.
work down.
Okay, fair enough.
So we've got Dennis, who's the guy that came second place Necrons. I'm just going to work it in placing of Necrons.
Yeah.
He was running Star Shatter as well. This is more of a Richard Siegler style list, but slightly different because he's got Imotech. He's got a Hex Mark with the -1 damage, which Richard did not.
He also
he's got double Wraiths.
He doesn't have a Reanimator.
Yeah, he doesn't have a Reanimator, which is
doesn't
strange.
have any Crypto Thralls.
Double DDA, and then he's just got like a unit of 3 Emetics by themselves.
So he played Josh Roberts in the last round, and I feel like if he was playing my list, he'd have had a lot better game into him. The race would have been stronger. He could have used the King to ignore the mods against the Storm Raven, which could have -1 damage, Armor of Contempt,
with rerolls,
and -1 to hit and wound at the same time. So it becomes very tough for his army. Because he only got the 2 DDAs and the King basically as like his shooting activations. The Omnitics are good, but they're not going to punch up in this matchup because you don't have the Lord with Ignores Cover or the Crit 5s. So yeah, I'm personally not a massive fan of this list. I think taking the 2 race without a Reanimator and the Cryptos is the mistake. If you're doing 2 race, you go all in.
Yeah, you just drop the Hex Mark, put the enhancement on Technomancer, and then.
I mean, Hexmark is one of the things I wanted to take as well. I wanted that. Yeah. I wanted Deep Strike for the.
I feel like the 3 heavies really that good when you've got that many DDAs.
Well, he's only got 2, but
and little shots. All the little shots. We've got so many in there.
Yeah, the Wraiths are good at killing trash, like actual trash. They're not good at killing Terminators, but then without Ignores Cover, nor are the Locust Heavies. So. He's got a lot of actual.
And this list has gone down 30 points. And then up 10. So it's gone down 20 points.
Yeah, which isn't enough to fix the lack of Reanimator, I think.
Well, you can just drop the single heavy destroyer, and then.
No, you keep the heavy. You just drop the 3 Omnitics.
Well, you could keep the Emetics if you want, and then drop the heavy. Then he's got the 20 points that's the Reanimator, and then you need to find 60 points. So you just drop the Hex Mark. You got 40 left, so you get a third.
You need two
something
like
cryptos.
That. You need 2 Cryptos. That's the thing.
Oh shit! Yeah. Well, you need 20 points more somewhere else.
But I mean, he did really well. Losing Josh is something that pretty much everybody does in the world. So.
Definitely. He did good.
Run. It just shows the versatility of our data sheets, really.
But it's kind of quite funny how there were people saying when the Star Shatter first came out that nobody's found like the Star Shatter build, but at the very beginning, I was playing Wraiths, you were playing Wraiths. It wasn't like Barge Wraiths Silent King. I was playing like Barge and Wraiths, or I was playing the Silent King. I was never playing both.
I tried it. I tried it on TTS once in a game against Guard, and aside the fact I didn't have much actual scoring pieces, it just felt a really strong list in terms of
Mm-hmm.
output and
It's just a great
defense.
castle. It's got
Yeah.
great answers for everything. It's got a lot of damage, a lot of durability.
Mm.
And, like, it can kill nearly anything you want. It's just really good into the matchups it's good into.
The nerfs it took is still viable. Like I used -1 to wound once throughout the entire event. And that's only
mhm.
because I had 5 CP and I thought might as well. I didn't. I never used a +1 to wound. In fact, it completely slipped my mind that it was even there. The reactive move going to D6 is a big nerf because there was so many times I would want to reactive move, but I'd need to roll a 4 or 5 or a 6, and I just it's like CP rolling a 4 up. It's just not consistent enough to
Sometimes it's
want to
kind of
do
like
that.
worth it if it's a big benefit, because I
Yeah,
see Richard doing that a lot when I watched him play.
yeah.
Is that he will, if he needs to roll like a dice and it's like, yeah, this gets me out of dodge,
Hmm.
then he'll just go for it.
But I'd rather not put
But
myself in a position where I need to roll that 4, 5, or 6. But
yeah,
when it does come up, if it's like, okay, I'm going to lose the game if I don't, and I might win the game if I do, then I'll do it. But otherwise, being D6 is just a little bit.
which is a big gamble.
It's a big gamble. It's disappointing now. Like when I live myself, and the number of times I've done it where I've had to roll a 2, and then I've rolled a 1, and then one Vindicator does like 30 wounds to my Silent King
That's
because
just
I
too much
rolled a
luck.
2 instead of a 1 instead of a 2. It just
Auto 6 was a bit silly, for
it
sure.
well, it wasn't because other armies have
It
auto
definitely
6.
was.
Other armies have auto
For
6.
after shooting, auto 6 is nuts. For a
But they
vehicle.
still get to activate though. That's the whole point. So they can still just one
Yeah,
tap it
it's still.
anyway.
I think it's still too much. 6 is too much, in my opinion.
D3 plus 3.
Um,
Then how's that?
no, that would be so weird. Um, so
Right.
then we've got Ewan.
Yeah.
So he's also running Starshire.
Yeah.
He's got some cool different things. He's got an Imatech. He's got a
Mm.
Locust Lord with the -1 damage with a 5 up Fiona Pain. Just
Yeah.
runs around by himself.
Yeah.
Overlord with the rerolls,
Mm.
which I have played against before as well. Technomancer with the fallback. Silent King, obviously. 1 Wraith Squad, 3 DDAs, Flayed Ones, 3 Destroyers, and 10 Lich Guards. So he's got like no actions whatsoever.
Well, he's got the Locust Destroyers. He's got the Flayed
Yeah,
One,
well, yeah, he's got
and
4 units.
you've got. I think he's also got the Locust Lord. He can go out and do actions by
That is
himself.
true. Yeah, he's got a
I,
couple of
I
things.
like the list. It just glaringly lacks the Reanimator and the Barge.
Yeah,
So obviously taking the Overlord with the rerolls, maybe you don't want the Barge, but it makes such a difference. And he also doesn't have the Crypto Throws with the Wraiths, so in our particular game, my
yeah.
Wraiths just dominated his all ends
He's
up.
kind of gone like a lot. Like instead of one good thing, he's gone for a lot of okay things.
Yeah.
Is how it kind of feels.
The Lich Guard are
But
nice though, because it gave him an extra like an extra tough unit to chew through. But in this particular list, I think the answer would be to get rid of a Doomsday Arc here and then support the Wraiths and the Lich Guard better.
yeah,
You have less output, but then you've also got a bit more
because
staying
the double
power.
bricks still work, and +1 to
Yeah,
wound on that Overlord unit is actually quite good because it's 2s rolling 1s to hit on an objective, and then they're wounding anything that's toughness 5 or lower on 2s. So it's really good at just clearing
yeah,
chaff, like just anything, like any kind of hoarder unit, it will just clear it. And
yeah,
even sometimes, and a good a 10-man Space Marine unit, it will probably kill as well because the Overlord's re-rolling and everything. So
yeah. And
it is tough.
The Locust Lord with the -1 damage is nice. The only thing I don't like about it compared to my Scorpet Lord is that he can't go through walls, and he's not as good when it comes to heroic. But
Yeah, it's all right because
by
yeah, the
himself,
heroics so. Yeah.
he is tougher ish. Like one less toughness, one less wound, but he's got a 5 of feel no pain,
Yeah, but he's now less points, so it's and he can -1 himself, which is cool.
and he can manage for
As I
himself.
said,
So late game when everything's spread
yeah,
out, and yeah. So it's interesting tech, and I like
it's a
playing
nice
with it.
choice. It's a bit more durable in some aspects, in
Yeah,
some he's not. Because right, I think he's got 6 wounds. Is that
yeah.
right?
It's 6 wounds T6 instead
So he's
of.
got yeah. It's a bit less.
But he
But the
can also.
Skullpet Lord is criminally undercosted for 80. So
Oh, I don't know, man. He finally got points where he's playable, and
he's
then he gets
he was
nerfed.
really good.
He,
7/7
he was
is
good. I'm not going to say he
He's
was bad.
10 to
That's
1.
why I played him solo, and at 9 points,
Mm-hmm.
probably still do. But we'll talk about that later.
All right. So yeah, well done, Ewan. You did
Yeah,
a really
well
good
done.
job.
Congratulations on your first
Um,
5-0 as well.
then we've got Danny. We've seen Danny plenty of bloody times here. He's running the exact same bloody list, but he's got a Tesseract Vault.
Yeah.
So no DDAs.
Mm.
Clearly, it's worked well enough for him.
I don't think he played against Death Guard though. So
No, I don't think he did. But he played into Votan first round, and obviously UKTC revealed the pairings quite early, and we were chatting in our in our team chat like, oh, what he can do with this and that, and he's like, oh, there's no threat to my warriors whatsoever, and then I was like, yes, there is. There's a
wow.
unit. Yeah, it's like yes, there is. There's a
What?
unit of what are they called? Those
Thunderkin or the turn
Thunderkin,
or
yeah.
half
The
guard?
Thunderkin he had. He's like, yeah, there's no threat. I was like, yeah, he's got a unit of 6 Thunderkin,
Oh, that's
which,
66 plus 40. No,
yeah,
plus 27 shots, I think.
yeah, with sustain 2 plus to hit.
Yeah, plus to
I was like,
wound.
they have a chance to kill in your, of one shot on your Tesseract Vault if you're not careful
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
Like they can do it, even though it's saving on 3s, but it's still so much damage.
It
Um,
it's Votan is the one army that is the most deadly into the Awakened build completely. Because they have shooting and melee, so they can deal with the characters in one turn, even if you get them back up.
mhm.
And then they have 3 units that can one tap the warriors.
Yeah, the Berserks, the Terminators,
No, not the
and
Berserks. No, the
oh, the
Terminators, the
Berserks.
Thunderkin, and the big squad of bikes.
Oh, right.
And they all 3 of them can one tap the race, and at least one of them is in every list, if not 2. Yeah,
Well, the
it's
Wraiths, you mean, or the
no, the
Warriors?
Warriors. They can one tap the
Yeah.
race too, but that's a bit more tricky.
Yeah, so I said it was going to be a really tough game,
Mm.
especially on Terraform. I said you can win if it depending on what he does with these guys, these Thunderkin, will depend on how it goes.
Yeah,
And then he drew. Obviously, I saw he drew first round, but he obviously got the wins otherwise. And yes, playing against Death Guard, I think he would have really struggled, like
yeah,
really, really struggled. So he kind of dodged a
yeah,
bullet there, but he's done well with it still, putting the Psychomancers in after we chatted
yeah,
about it. And he obviously likes the Vault. I like the Vault. It's
yeah.
just really hit and miss if it actually does anything.
I wish I had space for Psychomancers in my list. I have been thinking about
Mm-hmm.
putting one in with the -1 damage enhancement, so it can just sit in the center of the battlefield behind a rune. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not
And
enough
then we've got
points.
Luke Harris, who's from Mind Goblins. Didn't
Mm.
put my name in the title, so you're dead to me, Luke. Don't ever ask me for help again. Yeah, it's my list. I'm not really going to go too much detail. It's Zera Zimatek, Orican, Double Psychomancer, Royal Warden, Triple Score, Warriors, Ghost Art, Reanimator, Double Scarabs, Thralls, Double DDA, and then
Yeah,
yes, this.
he,
And all I
he
change in this list now is I change this to another Scarab squad pretty much, and that's about it.
his draw was into my friend Alex on his Tyranids,
Who also
and
beat Vic. So
yes, he
Alex
did.
is a very good player
He
and a very nice guy as well.
the thing is in this matchup because we've practiced this twice a few like a month ago or 2, and it's a very bad matchup for the Tyranids because the Warriors can dominate the whole game. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
his trash just dies to the Warriors generally. He struggles to out OC because the Warriors have got high OC, and then he just hides the DDAs, and then the Warriors just dominate the battlefield, and the Bugs can't do enough. So the fact that Alex got a draw out of it is really good,
Mm-hmm.
and he could have won. I
And they
think.
both ended at undefeated at the end of the tournament.
Yeah, so they both did well. Good players.
Yeah.
In this matchup, the Psychomancers are really bad because,
Yeah.
as I told Alex, like just keep everything within synapse, and then you'll never fail a battle shock even at -1 because you're only 3 dice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of a bit of a whiffy part on our side, but the rest of the Warriors just kind of dominate the game.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
I mean, I know he messaged you for a bit of help. Obviously, I was
You
at
did.
Airbnb with Alex, so we had quite a long conversation.
Yeah, we had one side of the podcast on each side of the
Yeah, and
each side of the matchup. So it's basically like me and you played.
it's fitting that it was a draw, I think, as well.
Yeah, that is very funny, actually.
Although I think the Tyranids and the Stonehammer side take the moral victory here because it's a Necron favoured matchup.
Of course.
And I think this was a harder matchup than playing Vic, not because Vic's a worse player. Vic's definitely a better player than Luke, no offense, Luke, but I think this matchup was, the lineup of the actual armies were a bit more favoured.
Vic was saying that he really struggled to kill the Norn, like to deal with a 50. He just didn't have a way of getting 15 OC off the point.
Yeah.
And it was just too late. By the time that he could actually get the damage into the game, it was too late, and he just got overtaken. That's what Vic was saying.
Yeah. Sometimes the Norns do nothing because they just die to massive anti-tank, but sometimes they're really strong. So.
But if you just spite the feeling of pains, it's rough. All right, we got Mark. We covered his list last week.
He went undefeated.
He went undefeated with Canoptic Core. Prepare yourself, guys, because this list of marks here went down 15, 30, 60 points, 65 points. His list went down. So you can fit a whole unit in his list.
Yeah.
Which is it's crazy.
It's a pretty standard court list with the Mark Spice at the bottom, which he said did really well. I'll be honest with you, there was a point in my couple of my games where I thought, I wish I had a bit more AP2 damage too.
The 6-man brick. That's what we need to get you on.
No. I'm like, we must have AP2 damage 2 elsewhere in the book. So
this man's barges. Desperate to play anything that's not
annihilation barges. It is with 3 attacks and then their 2 damage last. So that's what we're going to go for now.
You'd rather pay 15 more points for annihilation barge?
I think I actually would. No, I think Praetorians is more.
The Mortals is not too shabby.
The Mortals aren't. I mean, we've always kind of poo-pooed them because they're on 5s, but then people started playing 3 PBCs, and everyone goes, "Oh shit, that's actually really good."
Just go on. It's because we always take like little bits of Mortals. Like we don't care about one mortal here, one mortal there because we're Necrons. I always find that when I'm playing Necrons, I'm like, well, I don't really care about this like 1 or 2 little damage that I'm getting dealt.
Yeah.
But then if you're playing any other army, that's like a dead model that you never have again.
It's pretty big.
It's such a brain rot mindset that we have as Necron mains because we literally don't care about parts in the game that really do matter.
The main issue for me with the barge is just lack of AP, really. But other than that, because I was playing a silly game with my friends and it came up like a conversation where I asked them, how much would you pay for this model? And they kind of went, like 110, 115, and it's 105 points. And I didn't even include the mortals. So it might be worth having a look at. It's still a chassis with some defense.
Yeah. Well, I've got thoughts about how I feel maybe that model in Phalanx or something similar.
But then you've always got a 5-point upgrade and you just take a Stalker, right? But I think rather than the Locust Destroyers, I think Praetorians is where I'm going to be focusing.
Yeah. And he could fit 3 squads of Praetorians in there with the points decreases.
Yeah, because neither of them gain anything from the detachment. What the detachment does give them is ignore cover on objectives.
He just wanted rerolls. Yeah, he said that was good. And he also said that just having another source of rerolls, like having a unit that can reroll independently, come in, kill 5 JPI, like they just kill 5 JPI or whatever. And it really did. He played against Emperor's Children. He played, and he's got a lot of good marine killing stuff. I don't dislike it at all. I think it's actually a decent little thing. They do actions until you need to. They are reasonably durable. They're still toughness 6, 3 up.
Thing I find though is most of the time they're going to be hitting on 3 drawing ones because a really smart player will look at it and go, well, I'm not going to stand on the objective here.
Sometimes there's only one thing on the objective. Or they have to go on the objective to get points.
If you're playing this list against a lot of big hulls, you're gonna
That's just how that is, I guess. But they do help. You can't. You've got to admit that sometimes even just having one Locust Destroyer just come in and shoot something has done that 2 damage to something.
Oh no, I love single ones, and they are in Star Shaster specifically where I can advance them to get more movement. They can hit on 2s, they get the rerolls, they go. A number of times I was shooting Blood Angels, guys on objectives where it's just like, okay, I've hit 3 times, but I'm just going to fish for lethals because
Yeah, it's so nice.
especially when
I
I'm,
like
but
the idea of it.
the prevalence of Death Guard, where the Marines are toughness 6, makes me feel like maybe they're a little bit too cute, because if Death Guard really are as dominant in the meta as the results suggest, not at Bristol though, then maybe we need something slightly higher strength, which
Yeah.
comes down to Scorpet destroyers. Like if that was 3 squads of Scorpet destroyers, would he have done better? Same price, same movement. He's still getting rerolls, but you're not getting lethals. I don't know. He's strength 7 AP2,
You
so
get Debs. Yeah, I mean, I choose Scorpex every day because I just like Scorpex, but I know
yeah,
he's a destroyer enjoyer. So
yeah,
then we've got our last list. This guy did not go undefeated, but
no,
he caught our eye because he was the only man playing Annihilation Legion, and he went 3-2. He went positive. He doesn't
yeah.
play any enhancements on the Scorpet Lords. Please,
Maniac,
James, why?
maniac, maniac. Yeah,
No fallback is so OP.
yeah.
Please.
And he's got
But
2 squads of Ophidians, which can easily just be deleted. I would delete the 2 squads of
delete.
Ophidians and put 3 enhancements
No,
and
they're
just
OP now. They're
play
OP.
100 points. Why are they OP? How are
I
they
don't
OP?
know. They're not. They're not. They're not. But he's got. Look at that. Fucking 9 heavies. He just doesn't. I love him so much.
Yeah,
30 played ones. He's just here to just get crits, get and have a good day.
yeah.
It's so good.
It is.
Yeah,
It's fun, and props to him for playing and going 3-2. I think he came in the top, the top 40%
140 something. I think he came.
out of 430. So top 40% roughly, which is
154.
yeah,
So yeah, he did well. Yeah, we just wanted to shout you out, James, and also shout out. Andy was telling me to everyone that come up to say hello to him.
absolutely.
We both really do like it. I will be going to more tournaments soon. I've not been to a super major in England since
Check.
Manchester. So we're both at Leeds.
Yep.
Please come up to us at Leeds and say hello, both of us. Anything. We really do enjoy it. I got it in Germany, which was just kind of crazy. Like whole of the country, and I've got people watching from there. So yeah, it's really really good. So yeah, we did fucking super well at the tournament.
Yeah.
Like very very happy with where Necrons are. It's looking like Awaken's kind of fading off, and then Star Shatter is just we've just got we are such a reactive faction because we just make builds that like we always sit at the top, but then we just always play the build that beats the other things, and we always have one, which is nice.
We do have the options. I think this pivot to Star Shatter is with Death Guard specifically in mind.
Yeah,
I think it's our best answer to Death Guard, although Phalanx is looking actually quite nice on that regard.
yeah, and
But
Phalanx. So I
yeah,
played Phalanx at an RTT, not as exciting as going 7-0,
sorry.
but I
No,
but
sorry.
I
Sorry
just
for
wanted to.
outdoing you there.
Yeah, no. I just wanted. I was busy, so I just wanted to fit a nice little tournament in
Come on then.
with
Tell
my
us about
local
your tiny
area.
little tournament that means nothing.
My tiny little terrible tournament. So it was in my local area, Black Tower. They run tournaments every month, UKTC, but the missions are random instead of the normal set UKTC missions. So if anybody is looking for tournaments up at the north, please do visit them because they are really, really nice guys. So I tried Phalanx because I've played every detachment at a tournament now. I played Annihilation Legion and I've played Starshadow, I've played Awaken, whatever, everything.
Hmm.
So I was like, I've not played this at a tournament. I've probably only had 5 games with it now. After those 3 tournament games, I was like, I tested it before. I just want to see if it's any good because obviously Def Guard have so much damage too, and I was like, well, maybe -1 damage on vehicles and then just increasing my OC is actually kind of helpful.
But then you took
So
20 Lich Guard, which have all
I
got 2
did.
wounds. That
I
doesn't seem
did, but
like
I
a good
didn't frontline with the Lich Guard. I
idea.
didn't frontline with the Lich Guard despite the fact.
Okay.
And the Lich Guard, I wasn't that impressed with anyway. To be honest,
Hmm.
I would have been just happy just playing one squad of Lich Guard. That's how I was feeling. Just one squad with Imatech,
Yeah. Do you think
and that's it.
Overlord would be worth it with Immortals and
Yeah,
Necromancer instead?
yeah.
Replacing? Yeah.
It's more expensive. That is the problem. But
It's like if you got to pay for the Chronomancer, basically, haven't
yeah,
you?
exactly. Yeah. So
What, 40
all I'd have
points?
to do is pay for the Chronomancer. It's 50 points, I think he is.
Yeah, but your Immortals are 150, so you're saving 20 points there. You can
Oh
take
yeah.
you lose the enhancement for the melee, so it's only like 25 points you have to find, right?
I've got the enhancement there,
Yeah,
like on my.
you don't have to take that if you're taking move shoot move Immortals. So
Yeah, but that enhancement is the reroll hits one.
so you're definitely taking that then if you're on
Yeah,
Immortals.
that's that one there is reroll hits one, so it's the same.
Yeah.
So literally, you just like it's 30 points or whatever. So
So
what was in my list? So it was a
yeah.
Catacomb Command Barge, and I took him just because of he doesn't have the Triarch, the Noble, the nothing. He has no keyword
Does
that
he not have
benefits.
it? Even though it's an
No,
overlord on a bar, it's like
that's what I mean.
it's like our version of a flat Ironman on disc, right?
That's what I mean.
This
He
is just
doesn't have the keyword. Like
overlord on barge. Like okay,
GW, he needs the keyword.
Josh, I'm going to
God
send you a
damn it.
message right now. We need
He's
to fix
literally a
that.
character. He's literally an overlord
I
on a
mean,
fucking
they
barge.
fixed the Silent King one, so
Yeah,
we
maybe they
know they
forgot.
will do it. But yeah, no one told them.
Well, yeah, if somebody tells them, they will do it. So I took him because Resorb for Imotech's unit and
Yeah,
extra making OC 3 Lich Guard is fun.
mm.
Or the Silent King that becomes OC 19 with him by and the
And the
strat.
strat, yes, it's
So I
super
had a
good.
hex mark because I had points, and I probably that would be one of the things I'd swap out. I mean, it did get me a fair amount of points, but it literally didn't do anything else. So in this detachment, it's probably not that necessary.
Yeah,
Imatech for the CP because we like CP, and obviously in Awakened, I'd always play him at the back of the board to hold my home.
yeah.
But in this, he was by the front. The amount of mortal wounds he got off was crazy.
It's weird
Like,
because in Awakened Dynasty, I would put him at the front more often because if he goes right up there, gets killed, well, and you haven't done the ability, well, you just get him back up, and then he can do his ability. So
yeah,
yeah,
it's just having something to hold my home was always a thing.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
probably, in hindsight, like every time I was playing the Awaken list, I'd put the single destroyer in reserves. I'd probably just have that on my home and then walk him a tick up.
yeah,
So yeah, I had him. Then I had the Overlord with the rerolls thing, and I've been told that apparently the rerolls thing isn't very good, and having the -1 to be hit is better. But whatever, I just had the points for the reroll, so I took it.
If Lich Guard had
Um,
lethals, then I would have it more
yeah,
because then it can punch up. But
yeah.
um,
I just took it. I had the points. I was like, yeah, it's cool.
yeah,
I forgot to tell my opponent I had it every single time until I realized that I had it like in the game, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm rerolling hits here, by the way. Um, it was helpful for the Void Scythe, and it was really helpful against Death Guard when he went -1 to hit Aura.
yeah,
And then obviously he's got a Resolve as well to help me. Then I've got the Silent King because why would you not? It's his detachment.
yeah.
Like -1 damage on this guy, extra OC.
Plus
He
one
was an
to wound
absolute beast. Yeah, he was an absolute +1 to wound. Obviously, he
really
was an
helps him
absolute
melee.
beast. And if I was going to be, I mean, I'll say how I was going into playing it in a bit. Reanimator to sit by. Basically, he would sit by um, one squad of Lich Guard in the center, and then the Silent King. That was essentially what he would sit next to. Two DDAs because shooting, flayed ones because I love me flayed ones. I was playing new points obviously, so two single destroyers to do actions and stuff, hold my home. Two lots of Lich Guard with the shields, and then two Triad Stalkers who also were very very good.
Hmm.
Early skirmishing, a decent flamer against chaff, OC7
Yeah,
like Scout 8, and on UKTC they can scout into those like, and because of the shape of them, they can scout into those annoying little spots where they can't get shot turn one. Like they are with Scout because it's Scout 8, they're really good. I was very very impressed with them. So like what's my thought like playing these games? So basically the +1 to wound, I would usually always put it on the thing that the Silent King was doing, like trying to kill. Like turn one, if they didn't reveal anything, whatever he was indirecting, I'd just put it on that to make it more consistent.
yeah,
Or like if I wanted to shoot a tank, I'd just put it on whatever the Silent King's guns wanted to shoot, because then I'm probably wounding on twos rolling with the Minears. That was not very many times that I'd put it on something that the Silent King was not going after. I put it on the Lich Guard a couple of times, which was quite helpful.
yeah.
My army isn't. The army's not. I had to sacrifice like most of the board because I'm so slow that I had to
Oh, we seem to have lost Matt once again.
kind of just lock down.
Okay.
Have you lost me?
We
Over
lost you
there.
for a second, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I had to lock down the middle and the expansion, and I had to kind of just leave that side of the board. So yeah, as I said to my opponents every time, I was like, yeah, my strats are -1 damage on my vehicles, which is basically what wins the detachment anyway.
Yeah.
Like just having -1 damage on any vehicle on demand, shooting or fighting, is really, really good because you can just be as aggressive as you want with whatever you want, and your opponent can't just avoid it. And then yeah, the extra OC on the Stalker. So if I wanted to deny a point off my opponent, I just put the extra OC on it at the start of the phase, and then just throw it onto a point.
Yeah.
Or the Silent King, I just chuck it on him and be like, "You cannot take this off me." Like I had
Yeah.
a Chaos Knight player put 2 War Dogs on the point, and he still couldn't take the point off me because I had a barge next to him as well.
Yeah, it's really strong
Yeah,
set of. There's 3 really good strats, and then 3 kind of ones.
yeah. The crit fives one, basically, I only ever used that for lethal fives from the Silent King. That's essentially all I would do.
I
But
mean, there is an
with the right
argument.
build,
There is an
the right
argument.
models.
Doomsday Arc. If you've got like 5 JPIs in combat with you, just do crit 5s on that, and you're just getting. If
Yeah,
it's something slightly tougher,
definitely.
like demons with a bad save.
Yeah, for sure.
There's,
It's just like you can put more units in it. Like I've seen Doom
yeah.
Scythes
I'm
for that kind
disappointed
of
you
funny
didn't take a
jazz.
Doom size. We did talk about it, didn't we? But
I
you didn't
know, I
take
just
one.
couldn't fit it in.
It was drop a DDA and something
I'd
else,
probably
but
just drop Lich Guard. I would
yeah.
just drop a squad of Lich Guard.
What
Like having
about
the one squad is kind of like having the one Wraith squad.
yeah? What about
The second squad just didn't do anything
what about taking a transcendent Catan?
for the
Crit
crits there.
5.
Yeah, don't see why not.
Like if you get in combat, 8 attacks, crit 5s, rerolling them
Sustained
from the king.
fives.
It
Yeah,
does
I
speak
mean,
for
yeah, for
itself.
sure.
But,
Like, I'd like to try a lot more. I'd like to
mm,
try this out a lot more with a lot more wacky stuff.
yeah,
So my games. So the first round I played against, I can't pronounce his name, and I'm not even going to try and butcher it. But he came to the table late. I'd set up on my table and stuff.
yeah.
He came to the table, and then he gets his rucksack. He slings it by his side, right? He just starts picking models out of his rucksack. And he's got all of his 13 war dogs in his rucksack, just picking them all out and putting them on the table. And I was like, mate, that is so funny.
That's
I was
new.
like,
Yeah,
they were all not damaged in the slightest either. He just picks
yeah.
up every model out, puts it all on the table, and he's like, "Oh yeah." He's chatting to me. He's like, "Yeah, I'm from London. My parents live up here, so I'm just come to visit and play." I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." Um, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'm just getting into the tournaments, so yeah, I had to
Nice
put my
easy round
flag
1 for
down."
you.
Yeah, he deployed his war dogs, moved them onto the we were playing sweeping engagement, and then he moved them onto the terrain.
Mm,
And I was like, I can shoot you, like when you're there. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. So then I killed 3 war dogs, and then I killed more and more and more, and then I just won the game 99 to 50 something. The Lich Guard got absolutely evaporated by 3 brigands that you sustained on me.
nice.
Yeah, that will just happen.
It will.
Silent King, he handed me the Carnivore charged the Silent King. He handed me 6 saves. I failed all 6, and I just got fucking obliterated.
Yeah,
And
been
yeah,
there. Been there.
I'd
It's
already won the game
not
at that
nice.
point, but I was just like, oh.
Oh, yeah.
I was not expecting him to die.
Even through -1
Um,
damage and
yeah, I
yeah,
-1 damage, and he just fucking killed me. I was
yeah,
just like, oh,
yeah.
right. He
Not
wasn't
good.
at full health,
Right.
but in the previous turn, he shot 2 brigands at me, and he did the sustained thing.
Mm,
He shot 3 melter shots. I failed all 3 shots, and he only killed 1 Minear because I had -1 damage.
nice.
Like he rolled a 1, a 2, and then a 4, and then killed me. I was like, okay, sick. But yeah, it like obviously an easier round 1. Round 2, I played against Death Guard, but champions Death Guard, which basically
Okay.
means that if his characters are in a unit, they get some shit. I don't exactly know, but they
Nice.
have basically the best strats that you can ask for. As
Mm.
they're so good. They can do full rerolls to hit, sustained lethal fives, fights first on a
Yeah.
Plague Marine squad if it's got two characters in. Just crazy, crazy strats. Super high damage. I He put spawn into the middle. I shot and killed the spawn. I moved a DDA out, and I was like, and I could have measured it a tiny bit better. I thought I was out of range of two of the bloat drones, but one of them could get in range that I thought couldn't. But I was like, okay, it's only two bloat drones. I'll minus one damage. It'll be fine. Yeah, he shot me with one bloat drone and put me down to 2 wounds through minus one damage.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And then he killed me with the other one. So I was playing a DDA down. I lost a Stalker, which I was expecting to lose, but I just wanted to screen him out. And then, yeah, I could have basically positioned a tiny bit better to stop that Lord of Virulence getting reroll hits onto that DDA, essentially. So, yeah, I was kind of sweating a little bit. He had a Plague Marine squad charge my Lich Guard in the middle and killed 7 of them. But I went ignore mods, so he wasn't wounding me on 3s, and he was wounding me on 4s instead, which was nice.
Mm.
Because they would have become toughness 4, and then he would have been strength 8, wounding me on 3s with minus 1. And so wounding on 4, so that really did save me. For me to trying to be wise and go ignore mods. Then the Silent King charged these Plague Marines, and they had fights first, and I couldn't get on the point when I charged him because of the fucking stupid little flat piece that you can't stand on. So I couldn't get on the point. He overwatched me, which I wasn't expecting, but they have lethal sustained as
Yeah.
well in Overwatch. So
Yeah.
he killed a Minear in Overwatch. And then he fought first, and I minus one damaged. And then he killed the other Minear and put the Silent King on 9 wounds, 8 wounds. I fought. I did crit 5s because I needed them dead. I killed every Plague Marine except
Nice.
one character. They were a bit wounded anyway, but I killed all the Plague Marines except and one character, and put one character and killed, and the other character just sat there. And then he basically had the opportunity to move a Predator forward, put my second Lich Guard squad into contagion range, and then come 6 inches behind them because I just didn't have the resources to screen it whatsoever.
Yeah.
But instead, he put his third unit in the center and attacked the Silent King. I did minus one damage again, and then he didn't kill him. And then I was ignoring mods, but I was really low health. And then I killed 2 Death Shroud because I didn't have my attacks reduced. And yeah, the Silent King eventually died, but it gave me just a bit more. I got put down to a 5 primary, but then he got put down to a 5. He got 15. He got put down to a 5 again. But then I got 15-15, and I managed just to pull out at the end. I still scored 40 points on cards, despite being in such a terrible position. Because I got quite fortunate on cards. Dropped a Hexmark in his home field to try and steal his home, and I just didn't kill the Tallyman. I was like, try the
Yeah.
charge, and I just failed the charge. I was like, okay.
That feels
Like,
bad when a Hexmat doesn't kill a Italian man.
yeah, I was like, it's not a high chance that I do, but I just wanted to, because he's toughness 6, which is just annoying.
Yeah.
So, and if I hit the 9-inch charge, I would have taken his home as well. But I just decided, but I didn't hit it, so it is what it is. But yeah, it was a hard game. And then round 3, I was against Josh, who's one of our viewers, and he played Necron. He plays Necrons normally, but he was playing Custodes.
At this point, I think he's a Custodes player because I've only seen him play
Yeah,
Custodes for the last 2 months. Dirty
yeah,
traitor.
he tried to say that he was an Necrons player at the RTT, and I was like, you don't know what you are.
Yeah.
you play anything you want. So he misdeployed his massively, like just game losing deployment. He put his Caladius too far back that they couldn't actually shoot anything turn 1. So I just scouted one of the Stalkers, he tried to charge me with wardens, failed. I killed 2 or 3 of the wardens with a DDA and the stalker, and then he decided to suicide some bikes into some Lich Guard. The
Shit.
actual bike guys themselves, right? The bike guys themselves killed maybe 2 Lich Guard, 3 Lich Guard, and then the captain killed 6 because I failed 6 out of 7 4 pin buttons.
Oof.
And I was like, okay, shit.
That's
I lost 8 of them. I resorbed. I not yet though. I didn't resorb just yet. I resed. I resed, but I had enough. I got really greedy, and I was like, okay, well, if I pile in here, consolidate, and then if I pass my battle shock and roll a 5 or a 6 on the res, I can steal that point. And I did all of those things. So I got
nice.
hold more because we were playing Purge. He decided that the bikes needed to die, so I killed the bikes. Because he sent the bikes to the middle instead of the wardens, which we said after the game was a mistake. And then I charged my DDA into his wardens that had killed my stalker at the bottom of the board. He rapid ingressed Valerian, charged Valerian in. Is it Valerian? I think that's what his name is.
Yeah.
I -1 damaged. I didn't die. So then he was forced to fall back, shoot, and charge. That was 3 CP he used. And then he charged the Silent King. He didn't die because I -1 damaged in the following turn. And then I killed most of the wardens and everything. And yeah, he didn't really have anything left at that point. We called it. But it turns out -1 damage into an army that's mass 2 damage
Yeah.
is really good. Like Death Guard and
For sure.
Custodes, so helpful.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Ignore mods is really good into what's it called? Into Death Guard. Like super, super helpful.
Also against things like Blood Angels as well, because they've got a lot of
Against
power
so much
crests and
stuff.
stuff. Yeah, it's
It's crazy how helpful it was. The -1 damage, just being able to shove any vehicle out, like even just the DDA, just the DDA just sitting there, just like yeah, I don't care.
yeah. You
It's
stick
all
it
of
on
it.
their flank objective. Like in my Death Guard game, he had a Rhino, so we were on sweep search and destroy. So you've got that little L where you can quite easily hide a Rhino if you roll a high enough advance on first turn. But he didn't quite roll a high enough advance, so I could see it with my DDA down the center. So I advanced another DDA right to the bottom and gave it the -1 damage. So the idea was I kill the Rhino and then the Plague Marines are sat there and I'll just kill the Plague Marines if I can. As it was, I didn't get to shoot them with much, so they were there, but I was -1 damage, so he couldn't kill it because everything was like 2 damage down to 1. So he shot it and meleeed it and it survived on like 6 or 7 wounds
Yeah,
because he
it's so
just
good.
it would have died without the -1 damage. It's such a
It's so
drug,
helpful.
and
Yeah,
the fact that you don't have to pick it at the command phase, so they don't know where it's going, makes it a lot harder for them.
like the +1 to wound just helps with that kind of stuff, and then you've got some good strats. Like I remember telling saying to my opponent, I was like, "Careful, hide your warlord, mate, because if your warlord dies, you'll be -1 leadership for the rest of the game." Like,
Yeah,
it's so dumb.
it's a funny strat. The thing is,
That with
in,
2 psychomancers.
in Star Shatter, you can have the -1 damage, but you can also have the +1 to wound. You get a better detachment rule in Star Shatter than you do in Phalanx because
Yeah,
+1 to wound for against one unit. Like imagine if you're playing Eldar MSU, it's like you don't have a detachment rule because you don't need
yeah,
+1 to wound against anything because it's all
it's not super
T3.
helpful.
No,
No.
so there is a certain aspect of it being a little bit weak into certain matchups, but some of those matchups are probably good at anyway. So it's definitely worth having a look at. We know one player who's been doing consistent like 4-on-1s at GTs with Phalanx, playing 30
Yeah.
Lich Guard though, which is
Yeah, there was that guy that we spoke about, but he did no Silent King 30 Lich Guard. I don't like that personally. I feel like the
yeah,
Silent King just makes it tick, and he's the biggest beneficiary of -1 damage
yeah,
and +1 to wound and
exactly,
the OC. So
exactly,
why would you not want to play that
yeah.
when that's what you're trying to get?
But lack of assault and lack of moving through buildings makes him a lot more
Yeah, it's
lot
just a bit
slower around the
slower.
battlefield.
A bit
So
slower.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
UKT
it's cool.
UKTC are bringing out a new mission pack with the changes
Finally,
to the cards, and hopefully we're getting new train layouts as well, I believe.
good.
So if we do get them, then this detachment doesn't have a non-Titanic clause. So if we have the ability to move big models around, like taking the Vault, but taking things like the Monolith as well, might be actually really
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah. -1 damage. The Vault specifically because it has the invul, so you don't care about AP, whereas the Monolith does. But I mean, the strat is non-Titanic, unfortunately, for the crit fives. That would be really nice on the sustained 2 gun. And
hmm
but yeah, also with the new cards, there is that one catch-up card which gives you sustained and lethal, right? Or
yeah.
sustained
Which is
or
what.
lethal.
Yeah,
And
it's
this
just. I
this
think it's
this
both. I'm not,
this one detachment will be really funny on the 1 in 9.
we can get crit fives on
Yeah.
anything sustained. Like imagine Silent King with sustained. And Silent King's a very very good beneficiary of most of those cards. Move through walls,
Yeah.
fall back, shoot and charge. The freaking sustained lethal, as we said.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot where he's actually still good with it. That the cards are still, and it's an army that can fall behind
Mm.
early because it's slow to get out the gate. So
What are your
I can
thoughts
see it
on
working.
taking just 3 bare bones Amnitics here in Phalanx? Because the crit fives is nice on them, means you don't have to take the Lord.
Yeah, I think so.
Uh,
I think it's definitely worth trying. Like the
AP is a sad time though.
yeah, it just depends if there's a lot of stuff that they need to kill in the meta. If
Yeah.
people start running horde units again, then yeah, I can see that working because of the crit fives. Saves you points and stuff. But that's why the immortals are still fine, right? Because
Yeah.
it's still okay.
You don't
And
have
then you
the
get to
AP.
fire and fade. I would
Yeah.
like again, if I could change the list, I'd probably take out the hex mark, shuffle around the secondary scoring and stuff, and then I'd take the Lich Guard out, and 10 Lich Guard, and put 10 Immortals in instead, and try that.
Yeah.
Because Lich Guard were good, but one squad was good. Two squad, I didn't really want it,
Yeah.
essentially.
That's how I feel about race. Like you want a bit more scoring and a bit more damage than you
Yeah.
do. Um,
And you can still and you can increase. Sorry, you can still like use the crit fives for free on the Immortals then as well.
yeah. The other thing
So,
is though, is you could. I would probably have it the other way around. I'd have Imotech with the Immortals and the Overlord
yeah.
because the Overlord, the Resolve
Yeah, I
on the
think you're
Lich
right.
Guard is
Yeah.
better. The Immortals are more
Yeah, I
likely
think
to
you're
die.
right. Yeah,
Um,
I think you're right. Because
yeah.
then you can free strat the extra OC on the Lich Guard. You can free strat Fight on Death.
Yeah.
Free strat Precision. You can get a lot more value. So yeah, I think you're correct doing that.
And Imotech's got more damage output than the
Shooting as
Overlord,
well. Yeah.
and he gets the reroll benefits from.
Yeah.
But you can't put the rerolls on the Chronomancer, unfortunately, can you?
Oh shit. Yeah.
So yeah, it's that's interesting, I guess.
Oh yeah. Well, it'd be worth trying both ways. Just don't put the rerolls on anything, and then you're just playing it without rerolls. But it's just you want the sustained fives really.
Alternatively, you could also run Imotech with just 5 Lich Guard as just like a little, flank bully piece, something to
Trading
protect your
unit.
flank objective as well.
Yeah.
Little trading piece, and then you still have the 2 big squads
I'd
with
love to
both
just have
overlords.
2 annihilation barges and just have more vehicles. Like if you just drop the one squad of Lich Guard and then just had 2 annihilation barges just wandering around because these little cheap vehicles are quite annoying to deal with.
They are. When the Codex first drops, I played around with Phalanx a little bit, and there is a trap where you just play too many vehicles, though, because you go, oh look, Leo, I've got -1 damage, I've got all of these strats that I can use, but then you have too many vehicles, and you can only use the strat on one. So if you step out with too many vehicles, and they just go, well, I'll just shoot that one now instead, and you go, well, great.
Yeah.
So having that mix where you have this vehicle with the 10 defenses, and then you have something else like the Hexmark with loan up or
Mm.
infantry or something with this. Yeah.
So this is our Meta Monday for Necrons. We only had a 51% win rate, but we had 13 X and O X and ones.
Yeah.
No event wins. So
So,
we are just
sorry,
the
guys.
4-1 faction.
We are. It would seem.
Uh, and so Annihilation Legion, 3 players. Awakened Dynasty just dropping back down again.
Yeah.
Star Shatter though, 75% win rate. Star Shatter Arsenal, which
How
is
many players?
crazy. 8.
8, and probably what 5 of them were at Bristol going for one.
Yeah.
Although, well, 4-1 or better, I should say. We had what a 6
Well,
and
Mark,
1.
it was a 55% win rate for Canoptic Court.
Yeah,
There was 2 players, and Mark won
4
80% of his
games.
games.
He won 4 games.
Yeah, so 80%.
Yeah.
So then this guy probably went like 2 and
Is it what's
it
the
would have been
what's
2
the?
and
I
3.
can't see on the screen. What is it? 50%
55.
from 2 players.
Yeah.
That'd be.
Does a draw count as half a win?
It probably must do, right? Because 10 games, you don't get 55% win rate.
Yeah.
So the other guy must have gone 1 and 4, and then
Yeah.
Mark's 4-0-1 counts as an extra win there. So
Keeping it balanced, boys.
yeah. So well, Canoptic Court's got buffs, so now we know what's going to happen there. I think the
Yeah.
Star
One
Shatter.
person playing Hypocrite.
I think that Star Shatter win percent is just slightly offset by the fact that so many people did well at Bristol, and that's just
Yeah.
one tournament with one particular meta and a lot of players.
Pre-game.
So I wouldn't take that as like, oh, Star Shatter's busted now. I just think
Yeah, look there.
we did
All
quite
of
well.
that at the bottom. So yeah, and then right, well, we're gonna do it for an hour and a half. We might as well run run over the changes because we've been talking about it enough. Oh, that is not what the hell I wanted to do.
I don't know what you just did, but it doesn't look
I
good.
got rid of my screen. It's there. Boom. Add to scene. Profesh.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Look at that. There was a lot of rumors flying around. A lot of them were lies, especially not the points, especially the rules changes because everyone was saying CP is going to
Yeah.
change. You're not going to be able to reroll hits on Overwatch, whatever.
Yeah, all of
But
these
obviously, it was
things
just
you
all bullshit.
take with a pinch of salt,
And we
right?
said we were getting big buffs where we had buffs, but we've had nerfs as well. So we said we've been adjusted.
Overall, I think we've
Um,
actually got nerfed, personally. Like every list I've built got up in points.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the Locust Destroyer going to 40 is rough. Don't really like that, but hey,
No, I mean 30. Okay, you could say maybe a bit too cheap because 30 points for
35 was fine.
yeah, like for what it
35 was
is.
an annoying price point.
Yeah.
For us.
And
3
now
being 95 points was annoying.
now it's a 15-point upgrade for that extra wound and a better. Well, you say a better gun, but probably a better gun. Either the Omnitic or the Gauss. So
Yeah.
I think
15 points for a better gun and
yeah.
1 more wound. So yeah, Doomstalk, everything Canoptic Court went down. I'm pretty sure like Josh's Canoptic Court list went down 70 points. God knows why Wraiths are like
Yeah.
back to the points on release.
I don't know why they've gone down. It is a bit weird. I mean, the Technomancer
220
still
seems so
he's
strange.
still a lot more expensive than he was on release, but the whole package
Yeah.
going down 15 points when we started to
Yeah.
suddenly see 1 and 2 squads reappearing
Like
is
everyone's playing Wraiths now anyway. Why have they gone down? Doomstalk is going down. I don't know why
see them coming
they're
down.
pushing. Why they're pushing for this to be played so badly.
You see, the thing is, right, you look at it and you go, well, Star Chart's being played, Dynasty's being played, Hypercrypt is being played. Canoptek Court isn't. Oh, so we better buff the Canoptek Court units, but we've got Annihilation Legion that nobody will play, but we won't touch
There's
it.
rules that they could change here for
Like,
Annihilation Legion. It's
why not?
not.
Yeah. Why not
I don't
fix?
understand what the hate is for Annihilation Legion.
I would
What do
rather
they see in those rules and they're like, it's too powerful to be left alive.
Yeah.
We must give it 2 surges that can't get into combat and no damage buffs in the entire detachment.
So
What?
I understand the feel no pain going up. 15
Yes.
points is a lot. 25 points
Yes, doubling
for
points.
that model is a lot. But that specific 4 feel no pain guy was definitely undercosted for what you get. especially
Yeah.
being able to get back up. So I can understand you
Mm,
going up. 25 points is a lot, but it's still
yeah.
worth it. It's still
Yeah, like
worth
a
it to
score
say,
pet lord going to 85 would have been more
yeah,
just.
yeah, because 90 is like, now it's
Is he worth the same amount as 3 score pets?
that
Like
was
he's
always,
basically just getting awakened, like punished because he's in awakened,
yeah.
which is where he's played nearly 90% of the time. So
So
it's
I've been building hyperlists with him solo, just running around as well.
yeah.
So 80
So it's like, are we
points,
going to nerf all the sisters characters because they can bring them back? Are we going to
yeah.
nerf Val because she can be brought back?
I hope so, because Sisters just got massive buffs, and that boggles the mind as
Yeah,
well. And then we like the little Technomancers, Plasmancers going down, but not the Psychomancer.
yeah. 55 points is enough, I think, for that guy.
It doesn't do anything apart from Battle Shock.
Yeah, which
That's
is
it.
a
That's all he
lot.
does. All he does,
Yeah,
though.
a
He
lot
doesn't
of
have
things.
anything else. It's just
So
literally
what?
that.
That's
Well,
good. That is a strong ability for 55 points.
uh,
Yeah, and the Plasmancer's going down, Mortal Wounds. Everybody's going to be playing Canoptic Court. I feel like it's a bit of a trap.
yeah,
It's so boring to me. I mean, yes, I'm a guy that plays 20 warriors, but 20 warriors to me was very fulfilling because you can do a lot of tricks with them, which can catch your opponent out if they're not expecting it, and not in the gamey way, but in the way that it's skill expression. But Wraiths, you kind of just shove 18 Wraiths forward, and you're like, yeah, been a reactive move here.
yeah. So for
Yeah, I
me, I
can
think
loan up here.
it's 12 race, not 18, and you get more
Yeah,
stuff.
people will play 18.
Yeah,
People
they
will play
will.
12. I think 12 is good too. I always played 12. I never played 18 even, but I really liked the list with like double Catan,
Hmm.
18, 12 Wraiths, triple Doomstalker,
Psychoman,
wait,
Plasmancers are
and
immortal.
and then yeah, and then one squad of Plasmancer with 10 Immortals for the dev wounds, but that was crazy anyway.
Yeah. So, I mean, in this detachment, would you just take, like, in Canoptic Core, just take a Plasmancer by himself, right? You run him forwards, you've tossed some mortal wounds into something.
Psychomancer.
No,
Oh,
Plasmancer.
Plas.
Toss some mortal wounds into something. Charge their biggest, meanest, toughest, most expensive brick. Die in melee, and then go +1 to hit and wound. Thank you very much.
I'd rather have a Psychomancer.
But at least I'm doing some mortal wounds on the way down.
Yeah, but I'm battle shocking.
On your turn, then the other battle structure doesn't matter. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it
think
does matter though. It does. You can't say that
not
after
not for, not
everything we
not
after
not
everything
for what
we've been
I'm
through.
using this for. I'm using this for just literally running out there, dying just to get +1 to hit and wound against one specific target.
Yeah, well, yeah, 2 mortal wounds and then he shoots a bit.
Yeah, exactly. You're doing this as early as you can, just to give yourself +1 to hit and wound against
That
something.
means they'd have to give you the big thing,
Yeah, well,
and
you
not
just
all armies
target it.
can not. Some players will not do that.
No, but imagine you're playing against custodians where they've got like I've just got 3 big blobs of ones and other stuff. You're just like, right, here's my first one, +1 to hit and wound against that target, and they're like, bleh.
Yeah, it just depends what it is, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's still not amazing into Death Shroud. The
No.
mortal wounds are definitely good, but and I don't know how easily they kill the wraiths, but the thing with Canoptic Core is they don't have any resing capabilities. That stratagem is very very shit.
If you get charged, then
Yeah, if you get charged and you're wholly within your zone, like it's quite rough.
having said that, the enhancement where when you do get charged is actually really strong because it's like
Yeah,
having a mine every
impact
turn.
morals. It's
Yeah,
like impact morals the other way around.
yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah, it's
charging
having a
every
mind, which is
day.
good.
I mean, I would definitely run it in every list I play with a race squad. One with infiltrate, one without, and then just go. Come on, charge this unit a day. You're going to take some mortals for the buffer. But
Hmm.
overall, I'm very disappointed in this. When I heard we were getting buffs, I thought, well, it's probably not needed, but I'll take what I can get. And I was hoping
Yeah, pretty
Praetorian
much.
could go down, things like that. I was
Mm.
hoping maybe the Monolith and the Bolt would go down a little bit because Hypercrypt is not as prevalent now, and the 6-inch deep strike change. I was hoping that kind of thing would be nice. Maybe the Doom side could be playable, but we know that's never going to happen, right? Monolith would be good. Yeah, we didn't get any of that. It's just the things that 5 points here and there isn't enough for me to make me want to play Canoptic Court, and I'm not playing most of this stuff in any other detachment. Seros going down is one I also don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
He's also taking Awakened, where most people have been playing, and he's 50-50 whether you take him in um,
Canoptic Core.
or Hyper as like a cheap Catan equivalent.
Yeah,
And now
him going down is a bit mad.
I would have rather him gone up, and they've gone, we're going to change his rules so it's just all infantry that gave the benefit of his
Yeah,
buff.
make
Because
him OP.
then, well, yeah, but it makes him actually usable because our battle line is insipid. The Warriors, yes, but when you're playing Orican 4 up, 4 up, they not often care about AOC. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so, and the +1 when you're playing Teslas doesn't make much difference because everything will have cover. So,
Well, you
yeah,
can ignore covering Canoptic.
you can, but you got to be within 18 of the objective, which means you got to be pretty aggro, and more often than not, you might not want to. You have to be visible as well. So it's there's a lot of
Yeah,
hoops.
you get your little Plasmancer, send that out.
Yeah, but again, it's just there's a lot of hoops to jump through, and I don't like strats where there's a lot of hoops to jump through.
It's one hoop.
2 hoops.
18 invisible, I guess. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And you have to be shooting what's on an objective. That's a third hoop, really, to gain the benefit of it. And a lot of the times when they're on objectives, they might just be out in the open anyway. So,
Yeah.
but we're still
Yeah,
strong.
I'm just Canoptic Core. You just be prepared to see a lot of that.
Yeah, but
So,
I'm not scared of Canoptic Core. It's annoying, but they don't do as much damage as other detachments. So if you're playing a mirror, then you're going to have the damage advantage. If you're playing Star Shatter with the Wraith, for example, then yours probably out OC theirs. You probably out damage them, and you probably out resilience them, if that's even a way of putting it. So they're nothing to be scared of too much. Yes, the lone up against long range shooting is good, but um, I just don't see how how Canoptic Court beats Death Guard, for example. Like, yes, you're resilient, but if you just can't kill them, then they're just going to whittle you down
yeah.
so fast, and you're going to be able to do nothing about it. That you're just going to.
Yeah, every turn that you're not removing most of their assets is another turn they're just fucking pummeling into you.
Yeah, and eventually it's going to get pushed back, and they're going to control the board, and because you can't fall back and do anything. The race great, they get charged, but then they don't do anything after that. Yeah, I've got them. You're paying for the mortal wounds when you move over stuff, but a good player just stays 9 inches away, and you can't do it. So
Yeah, and you can't mortal wound Death Shroud if they just drop 6 inches away and charge you.
exactly. So
Mhm.
yeah, not a great slate. Other armies got buffed, which some didn't get nerfed, which probably should have done. Like,
And some got nerfed that didn't really need it. So
yeah, a weird one. I think it's a big miss for me. This day slate.
yeah, I think this slate's a bit weird. I think they've just hit and missed the mark in so many places, and I don't even know what they're doing.
Last
Really, right
last year at
now.
this time, we got a lot of changes to the core rules with the movement. There was a lot of little rule changes, tweaks to stratagems and stuff, and they made a genuinely good amount of improvements to the game.
Yeah, it was like 10.5 were people
Yeah,
calling it.
and everyone was kind of expecting the same to happen this year. We had a few data slates in between, which were basically points changes. There was a few rules changes around Christmas, but I think everyone was expecting this to be a big one. Fix a few of the issues, make some of these big changes, at least refresh the game for the last year before 11th comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it was just things like things they've got planned for 11th, which are probably already set in stone, you can just kind of half implement some of them to get people used to the potential changes, and
Yeah.
they haven't done any of that. So it's pretty much the same, but we've actually lost a bit of variance because now we've got twists which are not going to get used compared to the mission rules, which
Yeah, it's a shame that the mission rules are really good. A lot of them.
they are for other armies. They're not for us because a lot of them are battle line focused, and we don't take a lot of battle line.
Well, that's just fucking put Battleline in then.
Well,
But it's
yeah,
not
but
even like them ones. It's like the redraw. Redraw a card, whatever, or
adapt or die.
yeah, adapt or die is really good.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, some of them,
there are a lot more. I can't think of most of them right off the top of my head for some reason, but
some
yeah,
of them you
I
didn't
like
use.
a lot of them.
Like the one where
Like
you put
Fog of
from,
War, Smoke and Mirrors, like, they were good ones. Smoke and Mirrors was decent. I like that. It's like, so you can't, not Smoke and Mirrors, Fog of War, where you can't use core strats or whatever
no,
turn
I
one.
absolutely hate that one. That was absolutely terrible. You know,
That was good.
you're playing against a combat army, and you want to have things in position to heroic or Overwatch, and you can't do that turn one.
Part of the
You know,
game.
or you're playing as a combat army, and you put yourself in a position where you've got a 6-inch, charge, but you can't do that. You can't CPU reroll it when you roll a 5. It just, it's not great. It's very bad for the person going second as well. So,
I liked it.
well, I mean, it was made it different, but um, it was also hard
Yeah.
to remember that you couldn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, we're always forgetting. Well, I think we've covered everything we wanted to cover in this episode. It's been a long one, hour and 40.
Yeah, not a long.
Have you got any?
Not a
Have you got
long.
any tournaments coming up?
I've got a small RTT week on Monday. 2 weeks, 2 weeks away actually, and I'm torn between playing Phalanx, Canoptic Core, just to give it a run out, and playing Death Guard. So I'll see how I feel. I'm going to play a few practice games between then, and just see what happens. I'm gonna play with the list I've been playing and fix that a little bit, but no real
Yeah.
tournaments. I think the next major tournament's going to be Leeds,
Yeah,
so
same.
I'll be doing some work for that, trying to work out what to take. We might end up going back to Hypercrypt
I've
for
got
a while.
Leeds, WTC, who I'm coaching.
Hmm.
Allies of Convenience, which is like a team
Yeah,
tournament.
who are you playing with for allies?
England.
England are going. Who's on the England team?
Not much of England. I think it's like the other guys. So James W, who's one of Dead Red Gaming.
James Webster.
Harley, yeah, Harley from Six Plus Plus. Raphael, Mark Cromwell, Tom Lohman, Adam Gorley,
Yeah,
Josh Collard. I'm sorry, Josh.
how lad? Yeah,
Cowlard. Yeah, I'm so bad at reading. And me.
cool.
And I've been kicked off Necrons, but I offered to not play them.
So
I
who's
offered
playing
not to play
Necrons?
them.
Mark. Yeah, that's good.
Probably.
That's good. I mean, I'm hoping to be there with Stonehammer because it's at our local.
I thought you weren't going because Andy
Well,
asked if I wanted to go.
yeah, there's a chance I might not be able to go. I'll probably have to, but I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to be there, which means that we'll probably face each other, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm playing something else that's not Necrons, so
Emperor's Children or Grey Knights
or T Sons or
or T
Eldar,
Sons.
but probably
Oh
not
yeah,
Eldar.
you keep your secrets then.
I will.
You keep your secrets.
Whatever it is, I need to get it fucking painted because
Yeah,
none of those fucking armies except Grey Knights is painted.
there is a GT element as well the week before. So if you can't make that,
When
then 19th and 20th of July.
maybe I think I might
And
be
then
busy. I think
obviously
I'm going to Wales that
there's a
weekend.
spring ITT the week after Allies, but you'll be away playing in the War Masters, another
I
super major
will.
that I will be playing in.
Yes, yeah. I don't know how high that scores though, but we'll
High,
see.
because there was 270-ish players, I think, last year.
Yeah, I'm going to have to see how good I am
I
because
think
it's going to be. I need some practice.
this year, I think there'll be 400-500 players.
I've not been playing as much. I've not been practicing as hard as I should be. But I'm
Yeah.
trying to take a bit of a break over summer because the whole process starts again for WTC,
Hmm.
and then it's just like locked in the whole time. So
I mean, I've basically just been going tournament to tournament. Practices. You could just
yeah, I
use
have not been
tournaments
doing
for
that.
practice. Just use
You played
tournaments.
more tournaments than me.
No, I don't think I do. You definitely played more than me last year. And this year, I think we're pretty average. Same number of RTTs and stuff. So they're about the
Well,
same.
fair. Yeah, I guess. All right. Well, yeah, that's everything, I suppose, this week. Next week looks going to be later because I am going to be hanging out on my arse after this festival. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's going to be really good. And then at the end of the month, I'm seeing Limp Bizkit and not Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park and Deftones.
Yeah.
So exciting! Holy moly! And I'm missing the Glasshammer GT for that. So
When's the
it's
last
going to
time
be
I
really good.
GT?
Same weekend,
Which weekend?
28th, 29th.
Oh, so there is another tournament this month.
Yeah, they're using WTC terrain. I really wanted to go, and I did buy a ticket, but I can no longer go. So I've had to save my ticket now.
Have you sold your ticket?
No. Do you want to buy it off me? Is that why?
Maybe. If I can get the time off
Well, you
work,
can let me know.
I'll let you know.
All right. Well, yeah. Remember, guys, like, subscribe, comment, say hello to us at tournaments, all that jazz.
Yeah.
If you want coaching from either of us, message us in the comments or something. I don't know. Find us somewhere, somehow.
Yeah,
We don't have an email.
At some point, we'll set something up.
We'll set something up at some point. But yeah, if you just
Yeah,
do
thanks
all
for
that stuff
listening.
I just said. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah.
Catch you later.
Take it
And
easy.
we'll wait 8 more seconds until it's quarter